Disrespect, a bitter pill swallowed by every individual across the globe, is an unavoidable facet of human interaction. From subtle dismissals to overt insults, disrespect can stir feelings of agitation, anger, and even profound distress, shaking our confidence and testing our resolve. The ancient Stoics, masters of emotional regulation and inner resilience, developed a profound philosophy for navigating such affronts, offering a path to maintaining composure, upholding self-respect, and transforming potential sources of conflict into opportunities for growth. This path does not advocate for passive acceptance of mistreatment, but rather a strategic and virtuous response rooted in self-awareness, emotional intelligence, and unwavering adherence to one's principles. It involves understanding the motivations behind disrespectful behavior, recognizing the limits of our control, and focusing our energy on cultivating inner strength and responding with wisdom and grace. This video and its accompanying discussion will delve into 15 powerful Stoic lessons designed to equip you with the tools to master disrespect. We will explore the wisdom of Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, examining their insights on emotional regulation, perspective-taking, and the cultivation of virtue. We'll also explore the practical application of these principles in modern life, offering actionable strategies for transforming your mindset, managing your emotions, and responding to disrespect with dignity and self-assurance. This journey transcends mere self-defense, evolving into a masterclass in self-respect, fostering resilience and virtue in the face of challenges, and becoming a beacon of composure in the inevitable storms of interpersonal dynamics. Remain calm and do not retaliate, the power of Stoic equanimity. In the face of insult, disregard, or provocation, the initial impulse often leans towards anger and retribution. We feel an instinctive urge to defend ourselves, to strike back, to inflict pain in return. However, the Stoics understood that retaliating in the heat of the moment only serves to escalate the situation, perpetuating a cycle of disrespect and potentially leading to consequences that far outweigh the initial offense. Instead, the Stoics advocate for a deliberate pause, a conscious act of self-control that allows reason to prevail over emotion. When you feel your temper flaring, take a deep breath and count slowly to 10. This simple technique can help to calm the nervous system, providing a momentary respite from the intensity of your emotions. Some even suggest pressing the tongue to the roof of the mouth as a further technique for calming the nervous system. This small physical action can interrupt the escalating emotional response. Remember that lashing out aggressively, even when the urge feels justified, usually makes things worse in the long term. Impulsive reactions can damage relationships, erode trust, and create a climate of animosity that is difficult to overcome. It is far better to gather control of yourself first before responding, carefully considering whether a response is even necessary. Often, silence is the most powerful and dignified response. Beyond refraining from immediate retaliation, avoid seeking revenge later on, when emotions have cooled. Trying to get even by passive-aggressively harming the other person in return only continues the cycle of disrespect, perpetuating the negativity and preventing any possibility of resolution. As Marcus Aurelius wisely stated, the best revenge is not to be like the wrongdoer. Maintain your own principles, treat the other person with dignity, even if they do not reciprocate at first. Your example can help to elevate the situation, demonstrating the power of self-control and inspiring a more respectful response. With patience and self-discipline, remain the calm eye of the storm when encountering disrespect. This level-headed strength often diffuses and transforms volatile situations far more effectively than reactive anger, creating an opportunity for understanding and potentially even reconciliation. By choosing not to retaliate, you not only protect yourself from the negative consequences of impulsive behavior, but you also demonstrate the power of Stoic equanimity, inspiring others to rise above their own negative impulses. Consider the source, understanding the roots of disrespect. When someone directs insults, dismissals, or other forms of disrespectful behavior towards you, it's crucial to avoid taking the affront at face value. The Stoics understood that people's actions are often driven by factors that have little or nothing to do with the target of their behavior. To truly master disrespect, one must learn to consider the source, to analyze the motivations and circumstances that may be contributing to the other person's behavior. As Seneca wisely stated, he who takes offense when no offense is intended is a fool, yet he who takes offense when offense is intended is also a fool. For the wise man ignores insults. This quote underscores the importance of discernment. Before reacting, pause to reflect: is their behavior a reflection of their own pain, insecurity, or ignorance, rather than an accurate judgment of you? Do they have unresolved issues that are skewing their reactions? Are they projecting their own shortcomings onto you? In certain scenarios, such as interactions with customer service representatives, recognize that disrespectful behavior often arises from stress and frustration related to their job, rather than anything to do with you personally. Do not take transient interactions personally. Compassion for their suffering can help you let go of offense, recognizing that their behavior is not a personal attack, but a manifestation of their own internal struggles. More broadly, consider how people's perceptions and assumptions tend to say more about them than about external reality or others. Our subjective judgments are shaped by our biases, past experiences, and limited perspectives. What people attack in you often mirrors what they attack in themselves. Their disrespect does not necessarily imply any lack of merit in you. Keep inner faith in your value, regardless of how anyone else behaves. Let their words roll off your back while maintaining steadfast dignity and self-knowledge. The wise do not internalize insults, recognizing that another person's negative opinion does not diminish their own inherent worth. By considering the source, you gain a deeper understanding of the complex motivations that drive human behavior, allowing you to respond to disrespect with greater compassion, wisdom, and equanimity. You learn to detach from the negativity, recognizing that another person's behavior is ultimately a reflection of their own internal state, rather than a judgment of your value as a person. Be the bigger person, rising above provocation. When confronted with insults or mistreatment, the instinctive reaction is often to retaliate in kind, to meet negativity with negativity. However, the Stoics understood that this approach only perpetuates a cycle of disrespect, creating a downward spiral of animosity and conflict. Instead, they advocated for a more virtuous and effective response: to be the bigger person. Being the bigger person doesn't mean passively accepting mistreatment or condoning disrespectful behavior. It means choosing to respond with integrity, compassion, and self-control, even when provoked. It means rising above the urge for retaliation and finding the wisdom and strength to act in accordance with your principles, even when others are failing to do so. Begin by replying with calm assertiveness rather than aggression. You can set clear boundaries and protect yourself without stooping to insults or meanness in return. Make reasonable requests for changed behavior, but don't demand or command. Express your needs and expectations clearly and respectfully, but avoid accusatory or judgmental language. If the disrespectful behavior persists, know when to walk away, temporarily or permanently, from the situation and the relationship. However, do so with integrity, not explosive venting or passive-aggressive parting shots. Avoid engaging in drama or fueling the conflict. Simply state your decision calmly and respectfully, and remove yourself from the situation. Maintaining poise and respectfulness when provoked transforms not just the conflict, but your own character. Each difficult interaction contains an opportunity to demonstrate principles of understanding, patience, and courage. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, to bear trials with a calm mind robs misfortune of its strength and burden. Disrespect loses its power to disturb you when you face it with virtue. Led by uplifting example, demonstrating the transformative power of self-control and compassion. Focus on what you can control, the core of Stoic action. Epictetus, the renowned Stoic philosopher, famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This powerful statement encapsulates the essence of Stoic philosophy, highlighting the importance of focusing our energy and attention on what lies within our sphere of influence, rather than dwelling on what we cannot control. When insulted or mistreated, avoid wasting energy on trying to change the other person or ruminating endlessly about the situation. You cannot dictate their attitudes or behavior, but you have full agency over your response. Ask yourself constructive questions like, how can I handle this with composure and ethics? What can I learn from this about myself and my principles? What is the most dignified way to move forward? Channel your power into the sphere of influence available, staying rooted in your values, acting with integrity, calmly advocating for fair treatment when viable, and controlling the message you tell yourself about the situation. Of course, seek to improve circumstances through reasonable action when feasible, but without attachment to controlling uncontrollable things, like someone else's conduct. Serenity comes from focusing only on what is within your power. Disrespect may be unavoidable at times, but you always can choose whether to respond with wisdom and principle or react with disturbance and blindness. Your control begins within. By focusing on what you can control, you empower yourself to navigate even the most challenging situations with greater resilience, wisdom, and self-assurance. You learn to detach from the negativity and focus on cultivating your own inner strength and virtue. Accept that you cannot please everyone, the freedom of self-acceptance. No matter how kind, skillful, or wise you are, some people inevitably will be disrespectful or dislike you. This is simply a fact of life, and it is beyond your control. The Stoics understood that attempting to win the approval of everyone is a futile endeavor that only leads to frustration and self-doubt. Reflect carefully on the root causes when someone treats you disrespectfully. Does their behavior perhaps stem from vastly different values, worldviews, and experiences, rather than anything about you personally? Remind yourself that people have a right to their preferences and opinions, even if they differ from your own. You need not take differences of taste as personal affronts. There are countless factors outside your influence. Of course, reflect on feedback to consider if you have room to improve your conduct, but not all criticism is fair or accurate. Discern mindfully which reflects inner issues of the critic versus your own shortcomings. As the Buddha taught, some will hate you, some will love you. This is beyond your control. Do your best to treat all kindly, but accept that you won't be everyone's cup of tea. Make peace with this inevitability. Your worth is not dependent on pleasing the whole world. Stay grounded inwardly, following your own conscience. Manage your emotions skillfully when disliked, but don't expect universal approval. It cannot be forced. By accepting that you cannot please everyone, you liberate yourself from the need for external validation and cultivate a deeper sense of self-acceptance and inner peace. Reflect on whether any of their criticism has validity, the path to self-improvement. The Stoics recognize that even in the midst of disrespectful or ill-intentioned feedback, there may be nuggets of truth that can contribute to our personal growth. While it's important to protect ourselves from unwarranted criticism, it's equally important to remain open to the possibility that we may have flaws or blind spots that we are not aware of. Stoics know we all have flaws and room for growth. Handle even disrespectful feedback thoughtfully. When someone attacks or mocks an element of your character, avoid knee-jerk defensiveness. Pause and review their feedback rationally once emotions have settled down. Ask yourself, might this criticism highlight a genuine weakness in me, even if the delivery is harsh? Be open to the usefulness of the message. Is there any room for improvement or virtues to cultivate related to the flaws they pointed out? Do an honest self-inventory before rejecting criticism outright. Of course, not all feedback is accurate or worthy of integrating. Use discernment to determine what comes from their own issues versus your genuine shortcomings. Consider the source's wisdom and motivations before fully accepting their critiques. Thank those giving constructive feedback, even painfully so. There is opportunity for growth even in hurtful remarks if you search for the lesson with humility. Our enemies often point out weaknesses our friends gloss over to be kind. The Stoics know we are all imperfect and have room to improve ourselves each day. Even from disrespect, wisdom can emerge if you listen for it. Handling feedback with rational discernment rather than dismissing all critique is simply unfair. By embracing this approach, we transform potential insults into opportunities for self-reflection and growth. Remember that we all make mistakes. The importance of forgiveness. Feelings of anger and a desire for retribution are natural when insulted or mistreated. But holding resentments rarely benefits you in the long run. It chains you energetically to the one who hurt you. Ask yourself whether a slight disrespect really merits your ongoing distress and demand for vengeance. Is it better to simply forgive unskillful behavior that was not deeply malicious and move on? As Marcus Aurelius put it, the best revenge is not to become like the wrongdoer. Wish them well instead. Forgiveness demonstrates courage and principles. Of course, some acts of disrespect cross lines requiring accountability or removal from your life. Use wisdom to discern unhealthy patterns necessitating boundaries from simple misunderstandings warranting grace. But for minor disputes, a short memory often serves happiness. As Epictetus said, we should control our anger and restrain it in narrow bounds, lest it become our master. Avoid blown conflicts. The respectful and wise know all people sometimes speak or act unskillfully, but kindness, patience, and forgiveness heal rifts. Renew your spirit by releasing lesser offenses. Choose your battles judiciously. By embracing forgiveness, we liberate ourselves from the burden of resentment and create space for healing, growth, and a more peaceful existence. Surround yourself with respectful, supportive people, cultivating a positive environment. Carefully audit your relationships and social circles. Do some individuals routinely act dismissively or demeaningly toward you? Do they fail to appreciate your worth? Consider limiting contact with those who bring out the worst in you. Even if disconnecting completely isn't feasible, such as with difficult family members, try to minimize time spent together. Interact only briefly and under controlled conditions where possible. Manage your exposure to negativity. Fill your life instead with those who treat you with basic decency while encouraging your growth. Those resonating with your values make all the difference. Good company uplifts your whole being. Of course, have compassion even for toxic people, but protect your energy, too. Relationships should empower both parties, not drain one. You teach others how to treat you by what you tolerate. Surround yourself with those who see your light rather than cast shade upon it. Life opens up exponentially when you let some connections recede to make room for fulfilling bonds aligned with your highest self. By intentionally surrounding ourselves with supportive and respectful individuals, we create a positive environment that nurtures our self-esteem and enhances our ability to navigate disrespect with resilience and grace. Do not gossip or complain excessively about the disrespect, breaking the cycle of negativity. Venting often makes you dwell on negatives and gives the situation more power over you. Of course, share disrespectful incidents with close confidants who offer healthy support and perspective, but avoid fixating endlessly to anyone who will listen. This reinforces victimhood and negativity. When you feel the urge to gossip or complain arise, pause first. Consider if this is truly serving your growth or just spreading more toxicity. There are often better uses for your time and energy. Venting discontent can easily become a bad habit when disrespected. But as Seneca said, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Excessive complaining magnifies hurt. Shift focus to constructive action instead. Look for the learning in difficulties rather than just telling tales of woe. Frame experiences neutrally as opportunities to demonstrate virtues like forgiveness, courage, and patience. When communicating, avoid words that blow up the significance of the disrespect. Be wary of confirmation bias in commiserating with those who only agree with your perspective. See the bigger picture. Speaking of grievances can release emotions in the short term, but keeps you stuck in victimhood. Handle difficulties philosophically within yourself rather than amplifying negativity outwardly. By refraining from excessive gossip and complaining, we break the cycle of negativity and maintain a more balanced and positive perspective. Keep an emotional distance from those who mistreat you, protecting your inner peace. When someone insults you, recognize it says more about their issues and character than your value as a person. Their opinions come from their subjective perspective, not any absolute truth. Don't take attacks personally. Keep inner faith in your own worth and principles regardless of others' conduct. Their disrespect does not actually diminish your value. Remain grounded in self-knowledge rather than looking to them for validation. Of course, no one enjoys being attacked, but the impact on your spirit is within your power to manage. As Marcus Aurelius advised, choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been. Do not allow the shortcomings of others to become your own by permitting their words to infiltrate how you see yourself. You remain fully in control over your dignity and inner peace. Externals cannot penetrate your mind and heart without consent. Keep your spirit elevated beyond reach of unjustified criticism. By maintaining emotional distance, we protect our inner peace and prevent the negativity of others from affecting our self-worth. Maintain your integrity and values, standing firm in your truth. When insulted or mistreated, it's tempting to betray your principles in reaction, maybe demeaning them back, sabotaging their reputation, or even groveling for validation. But these reactive ploys only diminish your worth further. Rather than playing their game, stand firm in who you are. Keep exemplifying kindness, understanding, and fairness, even if the other does not reciprocate. In a frustrating conflict, do not let their behavior drag you down. As Epictetus put it, dare to look up to God, and say, make use of me for the future as thou wilt, I am of the same mind, I am one with thee, I refuse nothing which seems good to thee. Have faith in your higher purpose. Of course, be willing to examine your own conduct to see if you have room to improve, but do not abandon your core principles or adopt unethical behavior. Compromise on superficial matters, but not your soul. Staying rooted in your wisdom and conscience earns self-respect and integrity. These become your steady anchor in any stormy conflict. Handling disputes with rational virtue reveals true strength and maturity. By maintaining our integrity and values, we demonstrate self-respect and inspire others to do the same. Be polite and professional, but stand up for yourself when necessary, balancing assertiveness and respect. Default to being courteous and extending basic respect to those who mistreat you. Take the high road, but avoid allowing harmful behavior to continue unaddressed in the name of peacekeeping. Passivity backfires when disrespected. First, call it out politely, please do not speak to me that way, or, those remarks were hurtful and unjustified. Give them an opportunity to recognize and adjust their conduct. Assume good intent initially. Be firm and fair in establishing your boundaries. Of course, remove yourself immediately from any interaction turning verbally or physically aggressive. Do not remain mistreated for sake of etiquette. But even then, part ways while upholding your own authority and principles. Find power in embodying essential dignity for yourself and all people. With principled courage and highest mutual care, much conflict can be transformed. Led by drawing out the angels in human nature. By balancing politeness and professionalism with assertiveness, we protect ourselves from mistreatment while maintaining our integrity and promoting a culture of respect. Realize you cannot force others to respect you, releasing the need for external validation. When disrespected, it is tempting to reactively blow up or cave in, trying to coerce respect through intimidation or obsequiousness. But these strategies undermine self-worth further. Authentic respect cannot be compelled. Understand that other people's choices to be polite or not ultimately stem from their own judgments and internal state. Your attempts to control their behavior externally only lead to frustration and loss of personal power. Focus instead on self-respect, upholding your own standards of integrity independent of how anyone else chooses to act. Led by example through demonstrating principled, rational responses that speak for themselves. As Gandhi said, I cannot teach you violence, as I do not myself believe in it. I can only teach you not to bow your heads before anyone, even at the cost of your life. Stand tall internally. When you remain composed and ethical amidst mistreatment, you earn self-respect through courage and virtue. Your inherent dignity shines bright enough to inspire it in others when conditions allow. Nurture it first within. By releasing the need for external validation, we find true freedom and cultivate a deeper sense of self-worth. Focus on the positives, counterbalancing negativity with gratitude. When insulted or mistreated, it's easy to fall into self-pity and dwell on negatives, but wallowing in victimhood tends to breed more unhappiness, not conflict resolution. Counterbalance it with gratitude. Make a list of your positive qualities and valuable contributions. Remember all the people in your life who do love, respect, and support you. Review your achievements and capabilities. Consider the disrespectful person's own positive attributes as well. Their flaws likely coexist with good intentions and virtues in areas you lack information about. Assume fundamental human dignity. Sit with the reality that you have gifts to offer and are worthy of respect just for being you, but release attachment to receiving it from every person. Peace comes from within, not needing validation. Focusing on the light during times of darkness provides perspective and protects against distorted thinking. Be proud of your merits while having compassion for those unable to appreciate them fully, at least for now. As Carl Jung put it, I am not what happened to me, I am what I choose to become. Your circumstances and treatment do not define your worth. Shine on, undeterred. By focusing on the positives, we maintain a balanced perspective and cultivate resilience in the face of disrespect. Take the long view on life's ups and downs, embracing impermanence. When embroiled in conflicts or mistreated, recall times in your past you overcame similar trials, even if they felt devastating in the moment. You are stronger than you know. This, too, shall pass. Look at difficult scenarios as opportunities to demonstrate principles of understanding, resilience, and grace under fire. How you respond defines you more than what happens. Endure nobly like the greats you admire. Consider how petty occasional disrespect will seem in 10 years' time, of all the experiences shaping your life. Don't exaggerate one's significance. Keep perspective. Of course, take reasonable steps to establish healthy boundaries and uphold justice, but do so patiently, rooted in the bigger picture. Temporary conflicts need not derail you from your higher aims. Respond to trials with wisdom of one who has overcome greater ordeals. Allow life's brevity and eternity to frame each insult in perspective. You remain forever. By taking the long view, we maintain a sense of perspective and cultivate the resilience necessary to navigate the inevitable challenges of life with grace and equanimity. These 15 Stoic lessons offer a powerful framework for mastering disrespect, not through reactive anger or passive acceptance, but through the deliberate cultivation of inner strength, self-awareness, and unwavering adherence to virtue. By remaining calm, considering the source, being the bigger person, focusing on what we can control, accepting that we cannot please everyone, reflecting on the validity of criticism, remembering that we all make mistakes, surrounding ourselves with supportive people, refraining from gossip, maintaining emotional distance, upholding our integrity, balancing politeness with assertiveness, realizing we cannot force respect, focusing on the positives, and taking the long view, we transform potential sources of conflict into opportunities for personal growth, resilience, and the cultivation of a more virtuous and fulfilling life. The journey of mastering disrespect is not merely about self-defense, but about self-respect. It's about understanding the motivations behind disrespectful behavior, recognizing the limits of our control, and focusing our energy on cultivating inner strength and responding with wisdom and grace. By embracing these Stoic principles, we not only navigate the challenges of interpersonal dynamics with greater skill and composure, but we also become beacons of resilience, inspiring others to rise above negativity and cultivate a more respectful and compassionate world. These principles can be integrated into our daily lives, enabling us to navigate challenging situations with greater calm, wisdom, and self-assurance. Ultimately, mastering disrespect is not about eliminating conflict, but about transforming it into an opportunity for growth, understanding, and the cultivation of a more virtuous and fulfilling existence.